Alrighty, Doc here. It's Thursday. Another fun-filled week, moving slowly and steadily into the history books. And it seems like it's really just, I guess, treading water. I think that's the best way I'd describe it. It does seem like the markets don't have any oomph to go anywhere at this point in time. And you can see that on, what are we looking at here? Oh, yeah, that's Zolty Euro Zolty pairs trade. Oh, let's check the chat line. Good morning to all, and to all a good morning, and good evening, and good afternoon. And there we are. Okay, it's quiet as once in a while we get a quiet, just literally a quiet morning. And there it is. Today is the quiet morning, the Thursday. So maybe everybody's going to do the TGIF. They'll get involved in that one. And so, where are we at? There we are. And so let's get over to, for those that will be watching this through the videos, let's see what is in our market today. Let's first go to the Swiss. There it is right there. Swiss is doing a little bounce up. Let's take a look at it on J4X. There it is. Oh, Swiss, oh, Swiss, oh, Swiss, right there. A little bounce up in there. It seems like it always finds that support in the low 90s, mid 90s area. When we go to the J4X, we'll go like that, and you see it seems to hang around there. It has that big support area for the last the last 3 months, and the last time it tried to dash down there again, you could see it didn't even make that low. So it seems like that seems. Let's see, how do we describe that without repeating our words? That seems to define the channel. I think that's a good way of looking at that. It's defining the channel of where they're at the moment. Certainty, uncertainty. Dollar is weak, but not being sold hard. Foreign pairs trades, foreign currencies from the United States that are not American currency, are. Boy, that leaves me a question mark. My subconscious says, well, what about the Federal Reserve? In some ways, isn't the Federal Reserve propping up all currencies? So aren't they all American currencies in some way or another? I guess so. That's a good question there. I mean, it's a very theoretical, philosophical question. We all know that central banks are deeply involved in day-to-day trading. We know that they like to keep a channel. In other words, they like to keep pairs trades in a specific region of their price range. I mean, obviously we could go like this and say, go to the Turkish Lira and say, well, what's that excuse all about there? I mean, going from 1.5 over the last 4 or 5 years, to the 8 handle, I mean, it's gone up 7-fold. So, I mean, that's when we first started looking at the Turkish Lira, it was in the 3s and the 4s. That was, I guess, like 5-6 years ago. And it's like that old saying, what have you done for me lately? Nothing but find a way to go up. And then you can see this, as we always say, traders like to take something down before they take it up. Well, look at that zip up. They were just trying to get some sellers to come in and sell them something so they could buy it, or in this case here, as it goes up, it's losing value. So what they really were trying to do is sell it short, in a sense, esoterically and physiologically, and you get that jump. IVB, how you doing? Good morning to you. Guten Tagen. How are you? Another fun-filled week has come towards its end. We are on a Thursday, and it's interesting to see where the pairs are. We can see we had 3 dots. We talked about it yesterday on the Turkish Lira there. But overall, you can see on the J4X, and I'm talking to you, IVB, and then anybody who's watching the video, but IVB's live. He is live. He is not Memorex. He's live. And it's starting to bottom out in here. You can see this stuff is starting to turn up. And then when we look at it again right there, you can see that the Swiss is trying to turn up a little bit in here. We're even getting a volatility signal. I kind of doubt that it's going to go exploding up. I mean, look at the last time they did that. It just plateaued for 4 days and then sold off again. Let's see if we can find another one. Oh, there's one that it did explode up. We got a red and a green, and then we got another red and a green the next day, and then we got a move from the high 90s, right, 90, 70 area to almost 93. So that was an interesting explosion. Oh, what do we have there? Let me put my glasses on and see if I can enunciate that clear. Live channel. Come on. Ooh. How about if I just call you a live channel? It's a lot easier, isn't it? Or KO. I like that, like knockout. KO. Hey, KO, how you doing? We are just going through the rhythm, checking out what's happening. And just, it's the end, towards the end of the week. We're getting there towards TGIF, which is tomorrow. And we'll see what those weekly signals do. As you can see here with the dollar Swiss, you can see it's trying to break down into the weekly sell. We'll see if it has any real meaning. We saw it do it right here, and the next it fell somewhere's in here. You can see right there. It was it broke down in here, and then we got a slide in it there. Well, too bad we got this daily buy signal, because it was in a wonderful sell here, and caught most of this top action. But we were in the weekly buy, so you couldn't really do anything with it unless you were trading the options. And then, we went into that daily buy that one day. Darn. Oh, darn. And then it broke down again, and then it didn't go down much. It was tried to steal whatever profitability there was, and then it climbed into the buy, and it really didn't go up much. So it really says that the dollar. Let's go back to the J4X. It really says that the dollar and the Swiss, either one you want to look at, because they mean both the same, really says that they're in a channel. They don't have a real clear direction here. You see that channel? No doubt that was. I'm not sure what that was all about. I forget what news that might have been, but it didn't last long. That's for sure. What, 5-6 days? And you can see there that one was nice. After two volatility signals, the thing just exploded up with a daily buy and a weekly buy. It gave you that heads up of some real strength to come, and that's usually probably like the best plays of all when you get those doubles. Those doubles are fun. They can sometimes really give you a instant gratification there. So where shall we drift from there? If anybody has anything to say it, and we will play it. It's kind of like a rock and roll station here. I'm like that ship that they had out in the channel when I was in school. That, what they call it, pirate radio. I used to think it was funny. They were giving traffic reports of downtown London, and at the same time, it was a pirate radio station off the coast. And I thought they were better at the traffic in London in the morning than BBC One or BBC Two or something like that. I always thought that was kind of funny. School days. All right, and so here we are in looking at the euro. The euro is making that little chase down. Let's widen that out a little bit. But still in the daily buy. It's been a nice little pop. Now, we didn't get any volatility signals out of this thing out of all, except for right here. But we were in the weekly sell. And it was a nice little climb up. But again, we're in the weekly sell. Now, this thing is flirting. I think I had a zero line in there, didn't I? I thought I put a zero line in there yesterday. I did there. That's where it's at. And so this thing is flirting with the weekly number right here. You can see it in plot 1 now. It's minus again. And plot 4, it's minus again. And let's just double check if we're running the super 5 or just the 3. Yeah, so they're invisible. Plot 5 and 6 are invisible. So it's plot 4 watching and plot 1. And both of those have fallen back into the minus, as you can see there on the screen. Plot 1 is minus 0.00020. Doc looking deep into those atomic structures. And then plot 4, as you can see on the screen there, is reflecting a minus 0.40. So it's pressing down. Middle age. Can't see the oh, darn. Did I do that again? Thank goodness someone tells me. Let's do that. There it is. So there it is right there. Just so tight. It's just so tight. Ooh, so tight. All right. Me so good. There we are. Musu. All right, and so that's the action we're seeing with the euro, and matching the action we're seeing in the Swissy, except for here not seeing it because of the hinky ashy is a lagging indicator, so it doesn't exactly show it on the live. But this is a leading indicator down here, and you can see it's trying to turn up. There's a little bounce there, so we're seeing something. We're seeing that type of action there, and same thing here. We're seeing this moving obviously down. That's what it's supposed to do. Okay, and thank you, Middle Age, for letting me know that I had screwed the pooch there. Let's take a look at the cable. And you can see the cable doing the same thing, a little weakening there, but holding up well. We are in a weekly buy. But that was one strong spike we had. There was the double dot. And so it was a pretty good buy for the, you could buy it after the close of this day with the double dot. Let me just reload this too. And so you could go hard delta on that with no problem. So some of you might have actually caught that if you're trading it. All right. What else we got going on here? Where are we at now? We're at cable, right? So is there anything else we'd like to show out of these three products? Nothing. So what we'll do is we'll drift over to, and I've already done the spoiler alert with the Turkish Lira. And there's the Turkish Lira trying to make a dash on the upside, and this thing here just refuses to even challenge the time manifold here on the weekly signal. I like how it does it on the daily, at least. It breaks down, and you get your movement down, and then it just reaps. Look at that, just a rip, like a sixer. Is it a sixer? Like in cricket, or like a home run, bang. Look at it, just a zoom. Now we'll see if it does this stuff again, where it goes kind of after this explosion, it kind of chills, or they make a dash to the 8 line and give us an 8 handle, which would be very interesting to see. A little sad for the inhabitants of Turkey, of course, but sorry, Turkey people, we don't wish you harm. We wish you economic success, but for some reason, it ain't happening. This is the new policy of the administration over the last 6-7 years, and that's what it is. And there's nothing going to change that, I guess, because you don't go from 1.5 to 8 basically. Without wanting to go to 1.5 to 8. Obviously, you could play with the levers of power and try to figure out why is it doing that. But buckus, as we would say in Chicago, buckus. All right. Now, let's do this. Let's take a look at it on J4X. I want to see what the hinky ashy is doing with that. Do right there. Woo! Nice move. Woo! Yeah, it's doing it there. We're getting into the green. Cool. And look at that spike there. It's saying, whoa. We talked about this being down here, and we went and counted the... What did we do? We went back, I don't know, how many months was it? We went and looked for 3 dots, 3 red dots in a row. That had not happened since May. We got some, red dots there. And with 3, and then there was a 4 and a 5. It just kept on rolling with the homies. And then the time manifold got breached going into the second week of that. And it started to have a problem trying to get up in here. But then it held up, and it just stayed with the weekly, and it just kept on. Got all those slow stat. Look at that. That was, I guess, the oil exploration of the Mediterranean near Cyprus in the Greek waters. And I guess they were just messing with the Greeks to see if the Greeks really were going to protect their territory. Who knows what's going on there? Sometimes you just scratch your head at all that stuff. But anyhow, that's where we are. And I guess, if nothing else, if they went into the Greek waters, maybe they could, go off to the edge of it and then, into the Turkish waters and find some, gas or oil or whatever it is they were looking for. All right, now let's take a look at that. That was a little surprise. They did a real smack-a-doodle on the yen. So yen really put a charge into it. I mean, we went to a buy there, and then the next day, yesterday, they put it into the sell off of that. Oop, wrong spot. Remove that. And today, it doesn't seem like it's down just a little bit, but trying to lift. And Let's see what the J4X looks like on the yen. The yen right there. And there it is on ours. Still just like almost unchanged for today. It did push it down a little bit. I think this thing had been pressing through. I don't see a circle, so I guess it had not gotten through the plus. But it's really trying, as you can see there. It's still minus 0.02. So, it's trying. They're trying to lift it up. It's been, again, has that look of the channel, you know? Just the same way the Swiss does. It's got the channel going on. You know, and we're playing with the bottom end of the channel, and then maybe it plays with the top end of the channel, and then back to the bottom end of the channel. You know, and I guess, you know, in many ways that keeps a lot of the countries happy to see that. Ooh, what's that symbol all about? IVB, that circle thing. What is that? What's that? Let's see, what is that? My mind always goes to counting it. So I see that there's 3 dots there and 3 dots there and 2 across. So that's 8 dots. What could 8 dots mean? 7 days. The 8th day. I don't know. Is that like thinking, looking, checking, reloading? Oh, I hear a ding. What's that all about? Let's see what the ding says. A ding, ding, ding. I got a like out of that. That's cool. Very interesting. Let's see, I just need to answer this. Let's see. So, where are we now? Let's go. I just answered that question to somebody on the chat line. Or not on the chat line, but on a text. All right. Now, let's go take a look at Canadian. And so, let's see. There it's coming. And there's a Canadian. And let's put it up on the Chicago Quant. Right there. Did that do it? Yeah, there it is. So it's making a little twist towards the upside, and you can see we're even getting a green dot. Now this is still moving down here, which is curious. But we do have a green Hinky-Ashky, so that's pretty cool. Let's see. Oh, a question mark. Is the thing that shows up when something is loading? Yes, that's what I was thinking, because we can't see the screen. Oh, no. What am I doing? No. What was it? Oh. Okay. I see. So there we are there. I know. Middle-aged muscle straightened my act out and got me going right. So I felt really good about that. And so that worked out much better. And so that's the Canadian now. You know, I saw something 2 days ago in the news about we and this and that, and oh, but they have a big march up there. I got a cyber friend up there, you know, who is a really sharp guy. He's head of the Sapphire Project, where they're building a sun on the Earth, because he's proved that the sun is an electrical process, not an atomic process. And they're having a march up there because I don't know. They're talking about putting people in camps, something like that. I don't. You know, it's like what? Yes, because of the COVID thing, you know. So it's got you know how's it working? There's weird things going on in Canada to the point where they're talking about, and like, I guess they're relating it to concentration camps. I don't know. Something weird's going on up there, but you know what? The currency's not getting whacked. I mean, it looks like it's trying to be firm. And every time we look at the currency, we think, okay, it's connecting to the you know, it's not totally connected to oil, but it seems to be doing all right. You know, in other words, oil is, you know, going sideways to up. I thought it went into the sell last night. The next thing I know, this morning, it's back into the buy again. It never even made it into the sell. They added more data. Check this out. This drives me crazy when I see that. You know, we were cleanly in a sell. Let's see, where's it at? There's that. Go to the window. And crude oil is now on a buy, but yesterday that was a red dot after the markets had closed and below the zero line. And then they, somehow or another, last night they filled in enough data to drive it back up again. And you can see the weekly is having pressure there. As a matter of fact, I think I can do this. I can probably, let's see if we can do this. I'm going to show you the chart that I sent out last night for Chicago Quant. And, oh no, wait a minute. No, it's not there. I have to go like this because it's already been cleaned up. So let me show you the chart that I sent out last night. And the difference, which drives me bunkers. I mean, just drives me bunkers to see that happen. That they blackpool some of the trades, and then what happens is that they slide them into the clearing, and the transactions get filled in. Here we go. I think I got one. I can do it right there. And see, I'm going to bring this up on the screen too. And now where the hell? What the hell is that? That's not it. How could that be? Crude was supposed to be on there. Okay, so let's try this. Let me find another one. There's one. Okay, let's try that. And there's crude. And I'm going to show you. And I'm going to move it up on the screen. And you're going to see it. And it really drives me crazy. Oh, there's the Robin again. Robin in the middle of the webinar. Hey, Robin, what's cooking?
I think the markets are watching us.
The markets are watching us. See, that's nice. I think the markets are watching us. In what way are they watching us? Great.
Look at that gold.
Yeah, I know. Right.
Didn't make it.
No, I know. I saw that.
Silver's on its keister. Oh well. Can't get out of this area.
Yeah, exactly.
It looks strong. It doesn't look weak, but it doesn't look like it's going anywhere.
Right.
You know what? A lot of markets have a situation like that now.
I know. Let me finish the webinar and I'll call you back.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did it again.
Don't worry about it. Ta-ta. All right, so you can hear Robin what he was thinking about the markets. He thinks the markets are watching us. And you know, he may be right. You can see here, this is last night's chart that we sent out. I mean, the thing was minus. Then the clearinghouses put data in. And next thing you know is we got this. You see that right there? You know, it's like, no, now it's back up again. Same closing price. It's just they filled in more data. You know, amounts of information, amounts of executions. So that's that black pool thing that Doc's always talking about. They do that in the stock market. They do that in the, it's against the law, really. They're not supposed to do that. In other words, if you're a public company and let's see, what is it? If you're a public company and let's see. So if you're a public company, and in other words, you floated stock, and you're on a listed exchange, or even if you're in the pink sheets, if a transaction occurs, you're supposed to disseminate that information instantly. Okay, that's the law. So when you have two funds transacting a public stock, let's say they want to buy, I don't know, just choose any company in your head, and they want to buy it. I'll choose one. Let's say it's Amazon. It's a public listed company on a listed exchange. And they don't want to freak out everybody. They want to pair the trade off. All right. So what they're going to do is they're going to transact this thing in the middle of the market. They'll transact it. In other words, if the bid is 20 cents bid, 40 cents offered, they transact it at 10 right there at that. But they don't disseminate it onto the tape. It doesn't go through the clearing and so forth. And it goes into what they call black pool. And then what they're supposed to do, the Securities Exchange Commission and the Commodities Futures Trading Commission have agreed that if you at least implement that information by the end of the day, it's okay. They're not going to prosecute you. They didn't change the law. They just, basically told people that because the volume's so low, just to keep those trades. And so now these two companies, these two funds are trying to hide the trade. They don't want to make people, come rushing in and buying or selling because they were the buyers and sellers. Maybe it could be Berkshire Hathaway, that type of thing. Okay. And so, it does that. Okay. So now, that data, let's say they've traded it 10 times in black pools throughout the day. And then at the end of the evening, when the markets are closed and the clearinghouses have closed, they fill in that data that happened that nobody knew about. And then they put it into the system. And then what happens? My math picks that up. And so did I delete that chart? Or what did I do with that chart? Where'd that chart go? Did I minimize that chart? There it is, right there. And so that's what it was. There it was. And then, like an hour and a half later, an hour after I sent this chart out, it's in the system, and now the histogram is plus. The white line has not broken down, and there is no red dot anymore. And the price difference of the close is, the settlement is 03 now, right there. Whereas on the price chart, the settlement was, I think it was 4 even. That's what it was. So it was 3 pips difference. So they changed the close settlement, and they increased the volume, and they do a lot of other, and the open interest expands and so forth. So that is what I've been talking about. Now I can answer questions. And so that's what drives me crazy. Oh, okay. I like that. That's a cool idea. Go with the emoji. I like that. I like that. That's good. All right. I'm going to minimize that in case somebody brings this conversation back up again. So anyway, that's what we're seeing. We're seeing strength still in the Earl. And so when we look at the Canadian, right there, you see the strength is still, this thing is heading down, which means strength. And now it's giving a little pop there, but nothing major. Let's go look at it again on the Chicago Quant. Right there. And you can see it's trying to lift up. We got a green dot going. Matter of fact, we can do the reload to see if it, gives us a little bit more input, like that. And you see it's still green, and you can see, but that's still underneath. So that's how we look at usually the Canadian. Then we go and look at the the New Zealand Canadian, the loonie trade for oil. Let's see, where's that at? Let's go find that right there. I think it went into a buy yesterday. Yeah, it did. So that means strength in oil normally. And you can see how the weekly's acting. It's very poor. It's anemic, I guess you could call it. And that helps the Canadian dollar. I like that. I like that idea. Less words, just a button. There's no doubt about that. That's like hieroglyphics, right? You ever see those hieroglyphics that have like light bulbs and energies? There's serious consideration because of the things they've discovered in the pyramids, that they weren't just like tombs. They were batteries. They were giant batteries. Oh my God! I don't know, what's that mean? Doc being crazy? I think that's what that is. Oh my God! What's he saying now? I like that. That's that emoji. I like that. That's a goodie. Doc, you're off your rocker. I know I am. Yes, indeed. Doc, off his rocker. All right. What do we do here? All right. So we've kind of taken the Canadian. We've looked at it through the eyes of the oil. We've looked at it through the loonie. Oh, let's take a look at the Bitcoin. Yeah, it was rocketing like yesterday. You know, the PayPal thing really was. I got a message from PayPal. You know, I get emails from them even without being involved with them at times. You know, it's like, what? And I don't know if it's usually like a fishing expedition or something, so I never pay attention to it. You know, I get that from things I don't belong to. Like they'll tell me like Citibank wants you to double check your password. It's like, what? I don't have an account with Citibank. And it's the same thing like with PayPal. Let's see. Let's go check it out. Check it out. What it is what it is. And there it is there. Yes. And it's still climbing like the rocket scientist it is. And we're in the weekly buy here. I don't know why we're not seeing our time manifold on there. You know, it's got me totally confused. We'll have to chase after that. It says calculating, right? Gasline is calculating. So why is it calculating? So in other words, there's something making it calculate still. It's not fully doing its thing. We'll have to go find what that is. So you can see here, this thing is marching to the sky. And it should, you know, I mean, this should be moving differently than the stock market. You know, like, let's go find the stock market. Or the currencies. It should be doing its own gig. And now you're going to be able to transact through PayPal cryptos, which is really cool. Oh, I see it. I see it. I see it. Okay, there it is. As you can see it right there. There you can see it. Yeah, so I mean, you know, it's yeah. And why is it saying calculating? I have no idea. The weekly is calculating still. So, what if I do a refresh? Maybe that'll straighten it out. Let's do a reload. See what happens. Wouldn't that be a? It's still calculating. Okay. But yep, you can see that it's showing the life in it, and it is the life. It's been in the buy here, it's been in the buy here, so it's caught all this dancing on the upside there. What's it going from 11,200 or 300, 500? That's 500 there. That's what is that? That's a close of 11,120, and now it's traded as high as 13,285. So it's going up to over $2,000. Since it's been in the daily and the weekly buy. So that's pretty cool. You should give me one of those little smiley faces again. Because you know, the system, not me. Give the system a little smiley face for that. It's being a good algo. It's a fantastic quant. It's a wonderful quant. It's a mother-loving quant. Yes, indeed. A mother-loving quant. And so, yeah, that combination of was it PayPal? Now you're able to just go in and buy cryptos and transact cryptos. If someone wants to be paid in one of those cryptos, that shows life into it. That's going to be really good. Now, like I've talked about, there's the liquidity level is enormously low. You know, funds came in last quarter and bought $500 million worth. For $4 trillion sitting on the sidelines, that's not even background noise. I mean, that's not even noise. It's like when they try to say if a tree falls in the forest and nobody's there, do they hear it? In this case here, it's more like if a leaf off of a tree in a forest falls, does anybody see it? You know, I mean, really. I do those sometimes. I do a projection, but usually it's extrapolated from, let's see, let's do it on J4X because it's probably easier, and I might have to turn off the Hinky Ashy, and I'll show you how I do it. Let's see, let's go to J4X here and go to the Bitcoin. It'll be a lot easier because what we're looking at there is the futures contract, so it's not, doesn't have a good history, you know. And now here we can do this. We can go into the month, like the monthly, like that. Okay. And this goes back to, we know there's the all-time highs right there. It's like was that 19,500 or 600 or something like that? It says on the right there. And what's it say on there? 19,000 candle border 510. That's what it's saying there. Okay. Now we are at what 13 and change, and you can see this could have been something of an ABC. All right. I look at it through the R.N. Elliott way of looking at it, and at the same time, you could take this low here, take this high there, and let's see. And I'll show you what I do is, it's just your Fibonacci, and see how it's traveling. A lot of times I'll take the weekly buy or daily buy, that type of thing, and compare it to the highs and lows, and that's usually a good insight. Let's see if we can do that. Let's see what we do here, and I guess that's the best way to extrapolate. Indicators. I know it's here somewhere. Quick search, recent indicators. No, I don't want to clear anything. Let's see. FX. Add an indicator. And retracements. That's what we're looking for. And the way it acts to the retracements. That's usually like the best way of looking at it that way. Retracements. Statistics, math operators, cycle indicators, overlapping studies, pattern recognition, price, statistics. Let's see what that one does. I'm just looking for your basic Fibonacci. We can do it without that. In other words, we can take the low here, which was, what was the low there? The low was 3,000. That's 19,000. That's 16,000. Divide it by 8. Add 8 to it. And that was the 11,000 support area, basically, in here. And so by it choking itself in here for a couple months, now it's broken out. Let me do that again. So, and this way I can repeat it out loud. Drawing tools. Go. Oh, okay, yeah. All right, so drawing tools. Retracements, triangle, channels, percent. Maybe is it percent? Percent lines? Is that what they're considering? So there we go. Okay. And so you can see it played with the, was that the, that's a little odd. Where's the 0.38? There's the 0.62 right there. So it's going in reverse. I got it going in reverse. I guess that's what it is. So if I remove that, can I remove that? Remove. There we are. And let's do it the reverse way again. Only this time go from here. Oop, go from here. Go from here to there. So it choked at the, what is that? I'm not even sure what these numbers are. They don't make a lot of sense to me. You figure from 3,000 to 19,000, 3,000 to 19,000 roughly, you're talking about 16,000. Divide that in half, 11,000 and change is a 50 percentile. And it seemed to stall out in the when you look at it here, you can see it stalled out in the 11s, right? So it stalled there, and then it broke out. So you would I would look at the 0.618 now. So 618 would be, you divide the 16,000 by 3. So basically you're talking about a little better than 10,000. So 10,000, to 3,000 is, what is that? That's 13,000. So it's coming to the 0.618 now. And then you would look at the 0.72. That's that, or the compass. Okay. And so that would be the way I would look at it. And what I do a lot of times, compass. Where's compass? I don't see any compass there. Is that it? Elliott waves. This is that type of stuff. That's pretty cool. But yeah, I would. That's about. I guess the fact that it broke out of the 11,000, 12,000. It's done it a couple times too. when we look at it here, you can see it went up to here and broke it, that 11,000 and change. Matter of fact, it rotated around it, which a lot of times I'll take the high to the Fibonacci number and then take the low to the Fibonacci number and then pick the center and then go from there, figuring out the point, like the point 612, like the A. Okay, let's try that. So I guess that would be the best. Oh, okay, there we go. Fibonacci circles, and you're going to get Gann fans and so forth, expansions. And then, let's see, Gann angles. I mean, you can use any of those things, obviously, but the key really is you're looking at the lows here and the highs there. And then, so that's the only way. And then what I do is sometimes I'll put my secret sauce into it and take a look at the high versus the week, or like the monthly week, monthly buy, what the monthly buy is, or a monthly sell, if it's in a monthly buy or a monthly sell. In this case here, you can see that it's pretty firm, a lot of green there. So I would speculate that it's in a monthly buy. And so I'd be looking at the monthly sell, and every time it fails to go to the monthly sell, then I would assume that it's going higher. Because it's always a set theory kind of thing with me. I'm always looking at it through neighborhoods and unions and things like that. And so if I don't see that, then I say it's going higher again. If it won't go into a monthly sell, it's just going to keep on riding north. In this case here, it's the weekly, that we show all the time, and it's, was it there on the spreadsheet? You can see it on the fact check spreadsheet right there. It's 5 weeks in a buy and 9 days in a buy. So, but that's the futures contract. So, I mean, I hear stories. I got a friend that's involved in a poker game on Tuesday nights that, is Billionaire Boys Club poker game. And, there are people there, some people that are just married to Bitcoin and refuse to walk away from it. And they were long it from like, $500 or $300 and watched it go to 19,000 and refused to sell it. It fell to 3,000 and they just bought more, because they can. And so, I mean, there's some money that is pouring into it. Now that there's a futures contract and an options contract, it's opening a doorway for some funds to be able to invest in it. Like we said, last quarter had a $500 million invested into it by funds, which is, very positive thing. Now, PayPal comes out and says you're going to be able to buy this stuff through PayPal now, and you can pay things with it through PayPal now. So that really does make it, these cryptos, the true currency that we always say they are, the cryptocurrencies. That's what I always call them. And crypto assets. That's what they are, crypto assets. Currencies are an asset. And that's what we're seeing there. And you can see on Dukascopy, you can see that on the J4X. It's trading, let's move this over just a little bit, but like that, I guess. There we go. I guess we'll move this one over a little bit like that. There we are. And you can see here, it's 9,000 bid for $45 offer. That makes sense for a $12,000 product. Really. I mean, when you really look at it, you ever look at Amazon? Amazon's a $3,000 product, right? And it trades, a quarter or half a dollar wide all the time. So, it's not that far-fetched to see prices like that. And what do we have there on the futures? The futures contract itself, see that, I'm not sure, that might be a cash, right? Like the way spot is. And on the futures, you can see here, right up in here, that the bid is 75. It's trading at 12,975 bid on the futures contract, now 70, offered at 80, so it's $10 wide. So not much of a difference than when you're trading Amazon. It's basically the same way. And then when you see gold, let's go to gold, see what gold looks like. And there's gold. And you know what? The news could have put pressure on gold. That would not have surprised me any. I mean, I think we went into a daily buy last night in gold. Let's just take a look at that. And that's oil. And and there's gold. And so, yeah, we went into a daily buy last night, or a couple of days ago. We went into a buy there. You can see it. And now it's breaking down again. This was flirting with the weekly buy number, and now it has rolled underneath it again. And this thing is trying to go into a sell. I mean, Bitcoin or the cryptos start to take physical position in a marketplace that can be liquidly traded every day, that's going to put pressure on the metals. There's no doubt about it. Especially when they have calls and puts on the number one cryptocurrency, the Bitcoin. When you have calls and puts and you have futures contracts, it opens the doorway for, there's trillions of dollars out there. They can move into, the funds can move into having 1% or 2% of the product and be able to hedge it, and they can justify it to their investors. When you don't have calls and puts and futures contracts, it makes it very hard for the funds, the hedge funds, to justify being invested in a product. I mean, you got to imagine hedge funds have a problem being invested in stocks that don't even pay a dividend. So if they can't even buy a mainstream stock that has a dividend, boy, do you think they catch hell from their investors when they're buying something like a crypto without any hedge? Oh boy, I'm sure they're tenacious on them, just tenacious. So, and so that's really the gist of it all. And so, and that's all right, I mean, I'm a pro crypto. I really think that the product has position. It deserves to be respected like any other asset. I mean, you got EBITDA and all this other rubbish of earnings and so forth, and future earnings and taxes and cash flow, and so what's the difference if you're doing that, or you have a group of people that say, I'm going to have an alternative asset, we're going to buy them, and you can buy them and sell them too. Now, no doubt, when you don't have derivatives, it makes it harder for people to trade them. But now what PayPal has done yesterday, it opens the doorway for easier transactions. And then the next thing you know is, if that's possible, I would think the Securities Exchange Commission will start to license more ETFs. And the more ETFs you get, then you start to get options on them. And then next thing you know is you have funds and institutions purchasing them and selling them and trading them. And that opens the doorway to more legitimizing the product, no different than trading gold or silver. I know that they're an electronic asset, but then the world is an electronic market at this point. So what's the difference? All right, where do we go from here? We are looking at, that's gold there. And let's put it back again up on the screen there. You can see that. And if we move this over, can we move this over? I think we can. And still see, okay, so we can go like that, and then we can go like, if we go like this and move this over, so we can see the bid and offer like so, right there, and like that. There we are. And so there's gold. I mean, it's moved up a couple dollars since we just put it up on the screen. And we'll see how this goes. Like I said, the news itself, I think, drove down gold. Matter of fact, we could probably go look at the 4-hour chart on that, and you can see that it drove gold down. Because again, it's a competition, and that is, not going to go away. Competition is going to stick around because there are enough free places on the planet to transact these things, and there's so many assets floating around now. I mean, trillions of equity floating around doing nothing. Funds are terrified to invest. They're terrified of that. So they are not going to do anything but try to find better places to go. I mean, Amazon, cryptocurrency, there's a lot of room for a lot of places. All right, let's get out of that. Let's go over to what's next. What do we got here? So, natural gas. Does anybody want to see anything? We can go take a look at the stock market. There is there is the NASDAQ 100, and again, this thing is just bouncing around, and you can see it's trying to get into the buy now. Now we're getting a volatility signal during the day. We'll see if it closes in that volatility signal. And there was one there. It lasted for a good day and a half. There was one that was a nice ride. This one here was double of them, and then it started to take off there, and it gave us another one. So 3 out of 5 days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3 out of 5 days. And then you had that one right there, and we started getting good upside pressure on it. So, and we're still holding. I think this was minus. Now it's plus. I think it was trying to get into the minus, and this is starting to lift it up. And so at least it's the time manifold and the zero line and all like that on the weekly sell. What weekly sell? Weekly quant. Quant, not weekly sell. Quant. There we are. Where's the daily one? There was a symbol there that said, oh, there's day quant right there. Just change the color of it. There we go. So that's that is the the fangs in aspect. That's the fang. Excuse me. That's the fangs. That's the 6 or 7 major stocks that everybody's watching throughout the planet and invested in them very heavily. And we've talked about how the National Bank of Switzerland, their Federal Reserve, is deeply involved in it and making tons of do-re-mi from it, making good money. Now let's go over and take a look at the S&P 500. Whereas that is fighting. You can see the daily is trying to lift up. And you can see here the time manifold, the white line refuses to even go through the time manifold there. Let's just reload that. Yep, looking like that. And so if we can get some buying in there, that's guess it's it's going to be something. You can see the last time it did a double was here. We had that, and then we had a double here. It lifted off of that because I guess we were in the buy at the time, or it was trying to get into the buy, and then rolled over, and then got into the buy again there. But we were in weekly sells with this, so it's real sloppy action. And then this thing doesn't go into the doubles too much. It was the one there, so it's just one here and one there. And we can tighten that up a little bit to see if there's any more hiding out there. There's one right there. And that was in a weekly buy, and it gave us that, and then it went back into it again, and it just caught that big ride. So that is the only other one. And then you have one here. We were in a weekly buy, and it went into the daily buy, and it caught that ride. Nice ride there, too. So they have different characteristics to their volatility or their volatility vortexes. It's very interesting to see that. How about the DAX? Let's take a look at the DAX. We look at DAX through the ETF in the United States. So there's probably currency influence also in this. Matter of fact, I think on the spreadsheet, did it go into? It's in a weekly sell, yeah. Where is that? Let's go find it. Right there. DAX is 1 week in a weekly sell right there, as you can see on the spreadsheet. So I guess what it was in a weekly sell from here. No, this thing's been really all over the place. So it goes into a sell there. We'll just change the color real quick and then widen it later. And then then it went into the buy there again. You see it goes into a sell there. And then it goes into the buy the following week again. And I guess the daily is the one you really would trust more. You can see there's a lot healthier, like it goes into the sell here with it in the sell. And you can see it goes sideways, breaks down and goes sideways, but it refuses to get into the buy. Then it goes into the buy here. This thing trends on the ETF pretty well. And it does climb up, and then it goes into the sell right here, but we've got green dots, so awful hard for it to do that, so it's still into the buy. Then it goes into the sell here, and that's legit. And so that pressure's on, matching up with the weekly sell here again. Or was it, did it ever even get through? No, that was zeroed. So in essence, we must have put it into the buy, and then now it's in the sell right there. That's why it's 1. Ouch. There we are. That seems to make sense. Interesting. I'm just trying to figure that out. That's interesting. You can see the pressure on it, but not. And that was interesting. The sell here, and it just does not climb back out of it. I guess I could do more work on it. Maybe it adjusts to other algorithms of ours. Let's see what it's running. Are we running the 3.5 or are we running the 3? So yeah, we are running the 3. So the 1 and the 4 plots we're watching. Wonder what happens when we throw. Let's turn on the 5 the 5 part, the 5 super. Let's turn that on. Let's see what happens with that. Let's see what insight there is to that. Does it as a histogram too? I guess we should make it as a line. So let's make it as a line. And then a dashed line at that. Maybe we should make it a thicker dashed line. Alright, let's make it a solid line and make it thicker. How's that? Oh, that's the wrong one, isn't it? Nope, we didn't want to do that. So we make that invisible again. And then we want to do this. There it is, like that. And go like that. There we are. And we can widen it out a little bit so we can get a better feel for it. And you can see when the Super 5 kicks in with the 3, it does start to read things faster. In many ways, we should take that, turn the white line off of that. Let's do that. And turn that off. And you can see here it's, here it's giving you the clear warning, whereas it doesn't even give it up there. And you know what? A 5 might be a very interesting. Now here's 5. We're running a 5 on this on the weekly. And but here we're running just the Super 5 as a 6 plot. Notice you're going to look at this real quick and you're going to see that. Okay, so now how did that have 6 plots? When it's it's a super. That's right. So I know what that is. Okay, forget that. That was a bad example. All right, and so it's a super also. It's not a Gasline 5. It's a Gasline 5 super. So the 6 plot there is the Gasline 7, whereas the super here is the Gasline 5 in plots 5 and 6, or in 6 in particular, in 6. So, and in some ways, if you made that the histogram, and it made that the line, let's see how that goes. Oh, we got to make that the histogram. Yeah, see, it's picking up the strength right here because the histogram's gone plus. Interesting. So if this is running on a 5, that would have put it into the buy, and then where would it go? It would start to put it into the sell here, and then put it back into the buy there, and then see, it doesn't push it into the sell out of all this, out of this whole move down. So that's why we're running the more sensitive 3 on it, because of that. Because it just missed that whole move. We're going to have to look at the gas lines. Remember, this is a delayed process too. The ETF starts at New York Stock Exchange time, so there's a lot of data missing out of it when it comes to the actual. I think I'm going to work on that for you, IVB. Because we need to have a cleaner thing on the DAX. The weekly seems to be okay. When we look at the weekly seems to be fine. But when it comes to the daily, we need something a little bit more sensitive. It's nice it caught this, and then it pushes it into the buy here and then pushes it back into the sell, which is, well, actually, it never gets into, it still stays in the sell because of the white line, and then joins in here. But you can see the histogram starting to take off on this, which is a warning. You get a histogram plus, don't be short, that's for sure. All right, traders, it was fun, and what we will do is I think we'll work on that again. Matter of fact, that might be the title of this product. Today's webinar, we might go with the DAX, reworking the DAX Live. How's that? That sounds pretty cool. All right, happy trails to you until we meet on TGIF. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends, and yippee-I, and yippee-yay.